but it worked on my machine, and my unit test passed perfectly, right? I mean, we've all been there. It's basically the famous last battle cry of a developer right before a massive multi-contract exploit drains millions of dollars. Welcome back to Integration Testing Strategies for Composable Systems, an explainer brought to you by Forge College. So as we saw in our previous lesson on drafting a structured audit report, passing isolated unit tests really doesn't mean much if your smart contracts just crash and burn the moment they actually have to talk to each other.
Here at the Foundry by Forge College, our goal is to translate complex source material into actionable engineering blueprints for your Web3 projects. And today, we're diving deep into integration testing strategies for composable systems. We're finally stepping up from that foundational level to look at the whole big picture of exactly how these contracts interact out in the wild.
Here's the schematic for today's explainer. We'll start with beyond single smart contracts, move into the missing integration glue, look at a vault, router, and token setup, define cross-contract invariants, build your first integration test, and finally, wrap up with our conclusion and key takeaways. Let's get into it. Section 1. Beyond single smart contracts, the limits of unit tests. Okay, so unit testing is absolutely essential, no doubt about it. But it's basically like verifying that a steering wheel successfully turns left and right while it's just sitting there safely on your workbench. Integration testing, on the other hand, ensures the car doesn't violently explode when you actually install that steering wheel and try to merge onto the highway. So unit tests check your internal math, while integration tests check reality. Section 2. The missing integration glue. Testing interactions. When you look at the entire testing matrix, you can clearly see exactly where integration tests fit in. They sit right there in the sweet spot in the middle. They specifically target things like mismatched assumptions, race conditions, and those sneaky permission gaps that really only rear their ugly heads when two or more contracts try to compose a behavior. Now, system tests handle the full network deployment, sure, but integration tests? They are your essential glue. To formulate this glue properly, we have to follow a really strict mental workflow before we even think about writing a single line of code. First up, you have to map the interaction path. Second, pick the absolute minimal initial state. Third, constrain your external dependencies so things don't get completely chaotic. Then, you execute the path, and finally, assert your robust cross-contract rules. You've really got to keep it focused and controlled, kind of like a strict science experiment. Section 3. Vault, router, and token, a real-world scenario. Imagine money moving from your wallet being handed over to a cashier who then walks to the back and places it securely into a bank vault. That four-step chronological path is exactly the composed behavior our tests have to validate. Alice approves the router pulls the token, the router then calls deposit on the vault, and finally, the vault updates its internal ledger. If literally any link in this chain breaks, well, the whole system fails. Section 4. Cross-contract invariants, the law of thermodynamics. So what exactly is a cross-contract invariant? Well, it's a strict rule or a mathematical property that must remain absolutely true across multiple contract state transitions. I like to think of this as the law of thermodynamics for our smart contracts. You know, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Well, in our system, the absolute conservation of tokens must be preserved across the entire operation. No tokens magically vanishing into the ether. Practically, this means that no matter how many tokens move from Alice to the router and finally into the vault, the underlying equation must always balance perfectly. Alice's balance plus Bob's balance plus the vault's ledger has to always equal a constant total. If it doesn't, well, then we have a leak, and a hacker somewhere is probably out buying a brand new yacht. Section 5, your first integration test, building the blueprint. Okay, let's build this out. Phase 1 is all about setup and fixtures. We start by setting up deterministic fixtures. So we deploy our fresh, clean contracts, that's the token, vault, and router, straight to a local test node. Then we seed the initial balances using a mint function. We have to do this deterministically, so our experiment is perfectly repeatable every single time we run it. We want absolutely no surprises here. Moving on to phase 2, execution. This is where the magic actually happens. First, we take a snapshot of the entire ecosystem's balances. You can think of this as our before state. Then we execute the exact interaction path we mapped out earlier. Alice approves the router, and the router executes the deposit. Finally, we take a second snapshot to observe the exact aftermath. And phase 3 brings it all home with assertions. This is where we assert our cross-contract invariants. We expect Alice's balance to go down by the exact deposit amount. We expect the vault supply to go up by that exact same amount. And crucially,
We expect the overall token sum to remain completely unchanged. If that final equality check fails, we immediately know we've got a bookkeeping bug or a misrouted transfer on our hands.
Section 6, Conclusion and Key Takeaways, wrapping up the blueprint.
Always remember the core philosophy here. Treat your integration tests as incredibly focused experiments. You want to map out and validate specific multi-contract interaction paths. Always control your dependencies with rigid deterministic fixtures, and mercilessly enforce those strict cross-contract invariants. Honestly, that is how you actually get to sleep well at night after deploying your code. Now, this structured approach is incredibly powerful, for sure, but it does leave us with a glaring open question. What happens when our beautifully controlled system relies on completely unpredictable external data, like live price oracles, because, you can't exactly just snapshot the entire internet? Well, that is exactly the problem we'll be solving in our next lesson on mocking contract dependencies. Thank you so much for joining this Forge College Explainer. I really hope this gave you a solid framework for how to secure the glue between your smart contracts. Please visit forge.college to dive into these exact practical setups, hands-on, check out the code for yourself, and continue your Web3 engineering quests. But before you go, ask yourself, if your protocol relies on live price oracles to function, how can you truly test your integrations without snapshotting the entire internet? Think about it. Keep building, keep testing, and I'll see you in the next one.